Silent Night is one of the most iconic Christmas tunes ever. From Austria, now most people who grew up with Christmas know Silent Night. So that's what we're going to take on in this video. You will learn to play Silent Night. If you would like to download the sheet music, you can get this. It's in tabs as well as in music notation, and also the words and the chords if you just like to sing and strum the chords. You can do that at the link below. You can download a book of 30 Christmas tunes. All right, so first off, let's just play this and then we'll dive into how to play it. Okay, so you've decided to play Silent Night. Now what do? You look at the music. So the very first thing, if you like to, you can pick up your pencil, pull out the music and just look at it from a bird's eye view and just look at, this is what the music looks like. And then just notice what you notice. So up here we've got these chords. I know this is small on your screen. We've got the chord names up here. They're A, let's look through. E7, right here, back to A, D, A, looks like A, E, D's and A's. Well, so then our main chords here are A, E, and D. That means that we'll be able to use a lot of these open bass strings, which is really nice because that'll make it sound nice and rich, and also it can make it easier for the bass line. Okay, next, and we're just looking at the page here. We've got this up here, Adagio ma non troppo. That means slowly, but not too slowly. Don't let it creep, but play it tender and passionate. So chances are if you're playing this, you already know how this song goes. And so that's wonderful because that will help you with the rhythm, and it'll also let you know if you hit any wrong notes, you'll know it, and so will everyone else. Another thing that we can look for first off is the range. What is the lowest notes and the highest notes? So the lowest notes are going to be the bass notes. We've talked about that. So let's look through and find the highest notes. I'm looking at the notation, but you can also just look at the tab. Here we have the 7th fret, going through the 5th, anything higher than the 7th, looking through. There's the 10th fret, D, and that's the highest one. Okay, so we're gonna use the neck. We're gonna go all the way up here to the 10th fret. And so then that's just good to know right off the bat. So if you've never played up that high before, well, then you're in for an adventure. If you're just beginning, you might also then look around that spot and look at how difficult it seems, and that could help you decide to play or not play the piece or to get help with it. All right, what's next? Another thing that's nice to look for in a piece of music are the long notes. So where in the measures, the measure is this bar line right here, these are the measures, where are the ones that last the entire measure? So where are the long notes? Here's a long note, here's a long note. So this first one has it every couple of measures, then it's every 4 measures it looks like. There's another long note, and then here, there's 2 of them right here, and another one at the end. So these are long notes. Chances are that will be the sections. So whenever you're singing this, you'll know the words, so you just do it in the lines. But in a piece of music, that can oftentimes cue that is a section ending. And so then that can help you structure your practice to divide this into smaller sections so that you're not trying to play the whole piece at once. Those long notes can help you to break this into, say, this line of 4, and then this other line of 4, and then 4, and then 4. So you can just break it into 6 lines of 4. And so now you have much more manageable work. And that's the way we're going to go through this video as well. So with that, let's dive into the first of these sections. All right, so first off, I'll just play this for you here. So very similar, but there is a slight difference to it. And what is the difference? Whenever we hear something that's the same but a little bit different, we can ask, what changes? What is the difference here? And the difference is that, so these chords are the same for this and this. This is the same over here. It's this that is different. And the upper notes are the same. And the bottom, we just add these two lower notes. That's what we do for that. So really, if you wanted to really learn this fast, you could just repeat this first one, and that would be it. So then looking at this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and. This is an A chord. So if you know your A chord, then that's a great thing to go ahead and play and say, all of this is an A chord. How did I know that? Well, one thing is that it's written above, that there's an A, this is the chord name, so that's an A chord. But also if you know your A chord, then it's just, you can see that it's part of that, right? It could be part of something else too, but most commonly it will be exactly what it looks like. Here's a hint for you. When playing this 2 right here, this note, it's a long note. This is a half note. I'm talking about, there's also tabs down here, but I'm talking about the music notation because that's easier to talk about for me. It's a white note with a dot next to it. It's a dotted half note. That means it gets 3 beats. It means you hold it all the way through. And even over here, you can still hold the finger on all the way through. So the 2 holds down the entire first line. So that's a really good thing to know. Whenever you do this first line, you know that the 2 finger stays on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, 2, 2, 2. And so then as you're playing it, it just stays, and then it still stays. Even when this plays on, your 3 and 4 come in over here. You could really leave the 1 on too if you'd like to. And you could just practice back and forth. And that's just going to give you a lot more practice at that combination of 2nd and open and then 3rd and 2nd. So do that a bunch and then you've got the line. And that's the first section. So now we go to the 2nd line here, and now we go up to the 7th fret. And this is the 3rd and 4th fingers on the 7th fret, on the 1st and 3rd string. Now, you're way down here, you have to jump up here. How are you going to know which one is the 7th fret? There might be a dot on the side of your guitar. At that point, it is a dot point, or there might be one on the front, but that's going to be the ticket. Also, if you were right here, then you can just count up from where you were. If you don't have a dot at your 7th fret, I would put one there. You can just put a little piece of tape or a little dot of some like whiteout, if anybody actually uses whiteout anymore. A little sticker, anything. But mark your 7th fret for this. It'll be good for everything you play. So here, it's good to note something with the left hand here, is that left hand has 2 positions. It has this straight position where the fingers are all lined up with the string like this, with the frets. And then if we play more than one finger on the same fret, we need to tilt it so that we can get right up by the fret, because that's where we want to play. And so for this is going to be tilting the hand. We'll need to tilt it so that we can get right up by the fret. If we keep it straight, then this 3rd finger is not going to want to get up to the fret. So this is a tilting spot. And then that plays again on the 3rd beat. 1, 2, 3. And here, the 4th finger slides down 3 frets. And the 1st finger comes down on the E, 2nd fret, 4th string. And so I practice that. back and forth a bunch of times. Oh, with the right notes. And notice how your hand tilts, your hand straightens out. You could keep it this way, but that's going to mess you up for the next one. So I would just go ahead and, if you're not playing two notes on the same fret, then straighten up your hand. And then our next one, so our pinky stayed on that whole time. It can just slide down. Now the pinky slides up one more. And then we come to the second fret of the second string with the open fifth string. So then the whole thing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. The pinky is the guide finger. The pinky is sliding around, and the pinky goes from 7 to 4 to 5. So you can just remember 7, 4, 5 for that bit. Then we come back to keep the one finger on all the way through, and then just let up the pinky. And that's the line. Tilt the hand, straighten it out. Watch what strings you're playing with your right hand. The right hand technique is a whole other thing. It's beyond the scope of this video, but it's the most worthwhile thing to practice because it is what makes your sound, and it makes you sound gorgeous when you're playing. So if you'd like to know more about that, then you can find some links below to explore that as well. All right, on to measure 9, our third section of 4 bars each. And here we're going to start up on the 7th fret, barring 2 strings, the 2nd and 3rd string. Barring just means that we lay our first finger over just those 2. We want to keep the hand nice and perpendicular to the neck. We don't want to be like this, tilted back. If we're tilted back like this, then our pinky's not going to be able to get where it needs to go. And so square up the hand, let this part of the hand be parallel with the bottom of the guitar. So, and then here, we just go up, same string, but just up to the 4th. The 4th finger on that string, it's the 10th fret. So, 2, 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and now we go down to our A chord. 2, and 3, and 1, 2. So this, very similar to our very first section again, right? So, very similar. Another way to play this, you might look at this and say, well, you could also play this down here. And you could, it's just richer sounding up here. And so oftentimes you can see arrangements of pieces just using the notes up higher just because they're rich and sweet and luscious. And so they're a little thinner down lower. And so it's just a way that we can dress up the piece a little bit. Moving on to measure 13. Here we have, if you listen to this, it's very similar to what we just played, right? But it's a little bit different because of where we're playing it. So it's a really nice way, again, to dress up the piece. So what's happening here? D chord, if you know your D chord, think of your D chord and think of the notes within your D chord. It'll make it easier. Squaring up the hand to the neck, not tilted. So we've got our 1 and 2 on those top notes of the D chord. 2, 3. Now we're going to go up to this 5th and 7th frets. And this is also another D chord, same notes of the D chord. 1 and 2. Slide down the first finger, 1 fret, and then the 2 finger will come in next to it. 2 and then down to the original D shape again. When first seeing something like this, it's a great thing to just play through those shapes. just to get familiar with them so that you know that little group of note shapes in the hand. It'll also let you play through them faster on the eighth note right there. Make sure that your rhythm stays really steady and you don't mess it up if you're struggling with the actual notes. And then here we have, this is just like measures 3 and 4 on the first page. So you've seen that before. So the whole line. It doesn't matter which right hand fingers you're playing this with. It might be nice to make them consistent whenever you're doing this so that the sound kind of stays the same. If your nails are slightly different from finger to finger, then it can make the sound a little bit different from one to the next. Something can pop out. So instead, just 2 fingers playing them over and over. Now we come to measure 17. We have a big rolled chord. This is an E7. It's the shape of a D7. If you know your D7 shape, you can move it over 2 strings and bring it up to the 7th and then just add the pinky on top. It's just one way if you already know that shape. The squiggly line right here means to roll the chord. This right here. And with your right hand, you can play the thumb for the lowest 3 strings, 1, 2, 3, and then IMA, index, middle, ring. Or you can just rake your thumb all the way through it. Or your index finger, however you like to do. A rolled chord on classical guitar pieces is typically the thumb plays the low strings and then the fingers play the upper strings. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go up to the 10th fret here with the open B. Now your pinky, your little finger, is your guide finger. So coming in from the 10th down to the 7th, and then we'll pick up the 6th fret 2 strings over. That G sharp right there. And then if you can do it, you can use your 3rd finger there as well. And then the 1st finger comes to the G sharp here and then slides up. So that's something to practice, isn't it? So we have over and over and over. So just work it out. Remember that the melody is always the thing that people are going to hear. So really keep that in mind. That's what we need to hear. You can also just not play the bottom notes and just play the melody. And just pick it up, whatever. So if there's something that's being challenging for you and you want to put the piece together quickly, just leave that note out if it's not melody. All right, and then up to the 9th fret, 1st and 3rd, and again, tilt the hand. And for our last section here, we have our big 4 fret stretch again, like we had earlier, 4th fret and 1st finger. 1, 2. Now here's an interesting move. 4th finger, 4th fret, 4th string. The 3rd comes in on the D on the 2nd string. And I would also just loop that. The thing to listen for there is the melody line throughout all of this. So listen to that melody line. All right, so this is how to play Silent Night. Step by steps, make small sections, make sure you know what's going on with all of the text and all of the notes and everything else. Mind your good hand positions like we talked about. If you'd like to work on your right hand technique and so that that's really pretty, I highly recommend it. And if you'd like to get a copy of this music, then just click the link below and you can find a book of 30 such pieces for your Christmas timing pleasure, your holiday pleasure. Most of them are from the Anglo tradition, but there are some as well from Hispanic traditions and from the Jewish tradition. And most of them have words. There's also a notation only copy available if you'd like to as well. All right, so have fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.